get out of the zone phone right now. Gordon joining us. He writes for sportsmashup.com. His voice used to be able to be heard over these wonderful airwaves here at the Zone. He is our good friend Kevin Graham with us here on 97.5 and 1280 The Zone. KG, what's cracking, brother?
Oh,
hey,
Monday,
it's Kevin.
How are you guys today? Are you great?
Well, I'm better now that I'm talking to you, Kevo.
Oh, well, that's good. Because, I hit a sad point in my life today. I know this is shocking to you guys because I'm such a happy-go-lucky person, but for whatever reason, I got roped into babysitting my neighbor's cat, and so today I had to clean up a litter box, which is a first for me in my life, and quite frankly, has depressed me to where my life has become. Not only am I now house sitting for cats, but I'm cleaning up litter boxes, and I don't even like cats. So this is really, to be honest with you, I'm kind of depressed.
You're another step closer to being a shut-in, Kevin. Congratulations.
This is awful. Even my dog is pitying me. He's like, really? You got to sit around with a cat? You got to do this? I'm like, yeah, I don't. Jane the cat. It's outstanding. So, anyways, that's my life. How are you guys?
Kevin, you need to put on 400 pounds.
That's another thing, Gordon. I had to go to a memorial service this weekend. Like my dad's cousin passed away. When you live around family, even people you really don't know, you still got to go attend their services or whatever.
Poor you.
So I go to put some pants on. All right,
that's a good start.
Nice casual pants. And I got to get the washer and dryer fixed or something because everything doesn't fit anymore. Everything's like tight, and so now I have that issue too. So now I'm like, I don't know. So I don't know what's going on down here.
Hey, Kevin,
I got to work on this stuff. Yeah.
I don't mean to bring personal stuff in or anything, but will you explain to Jake where Marley rests?
I swear I told this story when we used to do the show.
I don't remember this story.
He's in a cedar custom-made box on my fireplace mantle.
What?
That's where my dude. I'm telling you. Jake, wait till you get married and have like a family pet. And this is a racket, by the way. And I swear, there's got to be other people out there that have gone through this the same way. The day we had to put Marley down, our yellow lab that we raised or bought in Utah, and then took him across the country, and then let him basically retire in Utah. Well, when we had to put him down. It's the worst. The dog's laying there, and this is the worst thing ever, and everyone's crying, and it's not good. And of course, my wife, I think, loved the dog more than me. Well, in fact, she does love the dog more than me. And so then what the vet then comes in and says, basically comes in with this form in like a pamphlet. It's like if a human died. It's not coffins, though. It's like, what would you like to do with your remains? Would you like to cremate his remains and put him in this nice cedar box that we can engrave whatever you want on it? So, yeah. So now, not only do I have to dish out the money for the vet to kill my dog, but then I have to dish out the money so I can put him in a box, which now rests on my mantle that says, let's see, I'm looking at it right now. It says, Marley, our loyal and loving Marley dog, July 23rd, 1996 to June 22nd, 2009. So there you go. $400 right there for Marley.
How do you know that it's really Marley in there, Kevin?
Okay.
You could have
I wouldn't be surprised. They could have went outside in the back of the vet building and shoveled in dirt in the box. For all I know, I don't know. I got my box. And the funny thing is I got my new dog Ryder. And he looks at that box and he's like, "Is that going to be me in about 10 years?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry, Ryder, but that's probably going to happen to you too." I tell you.
Kevin, think about it. If they go about this burning or cremating of the animals, the pets, if they do it, in groups, you could have maybe the hind leg of somebody else's dog in there.
All right. Okay. Boy, this
Who
is
knows,
just uplifting.
Man? I don't even know.
Just uplifting. Kevin Graham, sportsmashup.com with us here, 97.5 and 1280 The Zone.
You cat
I
sitter.
don't write about my dead dog in a box on my website. So
All right, Kevin. Listen, Gordon and I have been talking about this all day. We've broken down. Can we move on, please?
Did he just call it dog in a box?
Maybe there's a business opportunity in there. Someone's already got it down. But anyways, all right, sorry.
Are you done, Gordon? Can I move on? Is that all right?
I think we're pretty well done, yeah.
All right. Kevin, Gordon, and I have been talking about this all day. In fact, believe it or not, we went through and did all the math with all the different scenarios in the Jazz making the playoffs. Gordon thinks if the Jazz go 4-1 based on the other team schedules, and we don't need to get too nerdy, but they have a decent shot at making the playoffs if they can go 4-1. Do you agree with Gordon? And what do you put the chances at that the Jazz make the playoffs this year?
4-1 seems. I mean, that's a possibility. I mean, I haven't done like you guys and broke down all the other teams. I've looked at the Jazz schedule, obviously, and what they got left. But it just depends on how the Jazz play the rest of the way. Are they going to be the team that showed up, against New Orleans the other night? Or are they going to be the team that has beaten some of the best in the league this year? I mean, and that's the way I've looked at this team. I mean, some nights you guys obviously know better than me. I mean, some nights they go out and you're like, man, you see the potential and you see the possibilities that if they get in the playoffs, heck, they could even be a dangerous team if they play, the way they play against some of the better teams. But then they go out and lay eggs to the Kings and the Hornets, and you look at them and go, all right, this team isn't a playoff team. And I really don't think it's a playoff team. I just don't. I mean, I know they can get into the 8th spot, and I'm sure there's a contingent or a large contingent of Jazz fans and maybe even you guys that think it's a good experience for these youngsters to go in and get swept in the first round. But honestly, I don't think it's a big deal. I think if you go in and get swept, the reality of the situation is you're just going to get swept again next year in the first round. So to me, I think it's better to be in the lottery, roll the dice, see what happens, and continue to attain young assets. And if you do that, I think 2 years from now, next year you'll be a playoff team and get swept in the first round, and then 2 years from now you can actually be a playoff factor. So yeah, can they be 4-1? Sure. Do I expect them to be 4-1 and make the playoffs? No.
You bring up a good point there, Kevin, because if they are able to add one or two more pieces, let's say they did get 2 lottery picks. That Golden State pick looked like a long shot right now, but I guess it still qualify. But if they can you imagine if they added 2 more pieces that would be along the lines of a Gordon Hayward or something? I mean, they would be in better position to make the playoffs next year than if they make the playoffs this year and don't get that selection for next year. So
I agree, and I think Kevin O'Connor, in at least the last year or two, is done pretty well in picking first round picks. So. With Hayward, and then, you see the potential in Burks and Cantor this year. So, yeah, continue to get assets on this team. I think they're building it right. And I think the other thing, I was thinking about this today, I don't know if you guys agree with this or not. I think the other problem, you don't want to peak too early. Because remember what happened, when the Jazz peaked early and got to the Western Conference Finals by that fluky nature because Golden State got the upset win and the Jazz were able to get the Western Conference Finals. Well, suddenly the whole franchise thought they were better than they were. And the next thing you know, they just continue to get worse to where, of course, they are where they are at this point in time. So, just build it along, build it steadily. And I think Jazz fans, at least from what I can gather, the ones that follow me and read the stuff I write and everything, I think they understand that, and they're willing to support this team and the younger players they're bringing in. They're building it, I think, the right way. But obviously, guys, they still need more players to be able to take that next step.
Kevin Graham with us. Follow his website, sportsmashup.com. He does a lot of Utah stuff, does a lot of national stuff as well. In fact, Kevin, I noticed you posted a lot about Bobby Petrino, and let's talk a little college football. What did you think about the Bobby Petrino firing, and is his next job offensive coordinator of the Weber State Wildcats under former mentor John L. Smith?
Why not, right? I mean, if you're going to go somewhere, it's good to go and start with somebody that you've been around before and go that route.
A lot of good-looking women in Utah, I mean, 25-year-olds,
Yeah, but the problem is the problem for Petrino is that most of the women in Utah have actual morals. So I don't know if he'll have the same success rate that he had in Georgia. To me, and I said this on the award-winning Saturday show, The Producers. There's a free plug, Will. You owe me $10. But basically, I think with him, it just shows that these coaches, and I know Gordon, you probably could see this as well. They're so power hungry. And they just think they can get away with everything. And to be honest, too, I think it shows a lot of these coaches just are as stupid as anybody else out there. And you just think you're above everything because you're treated that way, and your fan base loves you, particularly when you're winning. And then what do? You go out and you do dumb things. I mean, to not have his own cell phone, if he's even going to cheat on his wife, cover your tracks, dude. If you're gonna do that. And then again, I'm not promoting it, but just what an idiot. Everything was bad, and then of course to go out riding in a Harley in public without a helmet on with his hot blonde, attached to him. I mean, what an idiot. Just the whole thing is just a joke, and he just threw away $18 million. $18 million he just threw away. I mean, look, if you're not happy with your life at home and you're married and you're making $18 million, all right, you're going to give her $9 million. Get a divorce. Take the other $9 million and be okay. But this guy was just a complete buffoon, and he got what he deserved.
There's a sort of a presumption on the part of some of these guys, or hence the cavalier nature of it, that I can do what I want,
Yeah, I mean, well, you've been saying that for years. I mean, particularly with college basketball coaches, but college football coaches are the same way. And again, it's annoying. I mean, some of these coaches, and I think you guys in your state, I mean, in Utah, obviously, I think you got class guys that are running those operations, but you get these coaches that come out and they're like, football, and they talk about how you can't understand the game and it's so hard and blah blah blah. It's like, look, your job is no harder than anybody else's job. Everybody's got challenges when they work. And so don't sit there and put yourselves on this pedestal that you're smarter than everybody else, and therefore you think you can get away with more than everybody else, because you can't. In this day and age, you can't get away with anything. The bloggers, the media, whoever, they're going to find out, and they're going to get the story, and they could completely ruin your career, which is exactly what happened to Petrino.
Kevin Graham with us, sportsmashup.com, here on 97.5 and 1280 The Zone. Kevin, I'm going to ask you this question because you were here and covering the Utes when Whit made this statement originally, but on Channel 5 over the weekend, Kyle Whittingham says that the quarterback position is the deepest he's seen it since his 18 years at the University of Utah. I wonder if you agreed with Whit on that one.
Deepest that he's seen it. Is it deep with good players? I mean, it could be deep. I mean, you could have 5, 6, 7 quarterbacks, but are any of them any good? I know everybody is saying Jordan Wynn's looked good and he's back and blah blah blah. But I'm sorry, I think one of the key things is who's going to be your backup and how good is that player? Because I'm sorry, Jordan Wynn has not been able to prove that he can stay healthy. So Wick could say his quarterbacks are deep. But, you're in the Pac-12, so you better have some good quarterbacks. Yeah, you could have a lot of quarterbacks, but they better be good. And particularly your backup quarterback better be strong, because I just don't know if Wynn's going to make it through a season. At least he hasn't shown he can.
They have a kid, Travis Wilson, who's a freshman, as you know, Kevin. And
freshman, no.
What do you think? What's your overall opinion of freshman quarterbacks? Do you think they can come in and really make a difference, or do you think the odds are so stacked against them that's a foolhardy plan?
Well, I think it just depends on the player, I think. I mean, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Maybe you guys can help me. I'm trying to think of freshman quarterbacks that came in and did a great job, and there aren't many. Wouldn't you say freshman quarterback or no? First year?
Wait, say that again, Kev. You broke up on us a little bit.
I'm sorry.
What were you saying?
I'm trying to think of freshman quarterback that has taken the college football by storm.
Well, Matt Barkley, he struggled as a freshman and obviously turned into a great player.
Michael Vick was really good as a freshman.
Oh, did you just say that?
Yeah, I mean, but it's so rare. I think there's a learning curve there, and I think I just think you don't want to have a freshman quarterback as your leader to start. I mean, I think the good programs have a system. They bring their quarterbacks along to where, you got a guy that kind of goes up through the ranks and plays until at least his junior year if he decides to go pro after that, and then the next guy in line comes into play. And typically you want a guy that's not a freshman. I mean, at BYU, obviously you put Eats in there, and heck, Eats played better as a freshman than he did as a sophomore, but I think that's very rare. And again, it's who you play and the conference you play, and Utah's on a different level now. Even though the Pac-12 overall is down, they still have elite programs, and you're still playing with the big boys. So to me, you don't want to go into a season with a freshman quarterback.
Kevin, what do you make of the Utes in the Pac-12? Do you think this is a program, you've been watching them for a lot of years, is this a program ready to move up the ranks in that conference and really have an impact?
I went here in Arizona, and I had a lot of people get on me down here when I said, look out, Utah is going to be a factor right away in the Pac-12. Now, little did I know that the division they were in was going to be awful, because USC obviously could not qualify to actually get in the bowl and win that division. Little did I know that Utah was going to choke in the last game of the year against one of the worst teams in the Pac-12 when they could have been in the Pac-12 championship game, although they would have got annihilated by Oregon. I think they are a factor. I mean, outside of Oregon and USC, Stanford, we'll see how they do with Luck being gone. I fully think, and particularly as they're upgrading their facilities too, I think they can be a factor. But to me, more pressure is going to continue to go on Kyle Whittingham because of all the extra money coming in. He is getting more and more resources, and he's now going to have to go up against better coaching, better recruiting. I mean, everybody down here is a buzz about Rich Rodriguez at Arizona and what he's doing. Todd Graham, we'll have to wait and see on Arizona State and what he can do. Obviously, Leach at Washington State. So for all these resources Whittingham is getting, the fact he can go and knock down buildings and build new buildings and everything else, I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on him to perform because the Pac-12 is only going to get better. So, yes, Gordon, answer your question in a long-winded way. I think they can be a factor in the Pac-12, but they got to recruit right, as you always hear, and they got question marks going in. Will Lynn stay healthy, and can Brian Johnson, being as young as he is, do a great job as the offensive coordinator, and we'll see. But right now, I think is their time to go at it because the Pac-12 isn't great right now. Just a few great teams, but they're not overall great. So really, I think now is the time for Whittingham to make a move and shine, and then I'll be curious to see what they do 3 or 4 years from now when all the other programs are built up as well. Kevin,
don't look now, but I think it's time to go feed that cat.
The beautiful thing about cats, I've learned, you really don't have to feed it once, and they're fine apparently. So
just let them out. Let them out, and the cat will drag a squirrel back to the doorstep.
It's a house cat. If I let the cat out, you know what happens to cats when they're let out here in the desert of Arizona?
Well,
Gordon?
maybe you should find out.
Yeah, well, I could, but typically there's things called coyotes that wander around, and that wouldn't be good. And I'd hate to explain to the family why their 14-year-old cat is no longer around, or why their 14-year-old cat is in a box that I built them and put them on the mantle of their fireplace.
A kitty got eaten by a coyote.
Well, that's happened, man. My aunt's little poodle got snatched up by a coyote last year.
SportsMashup.com is the website. He is Kevin Graham, and he makes a splash as always. KG, you're the man. Thanks, bro.
No problem. PETA, please don't call me. I'm all for putting dogs in boxes. Thank you. All right. Goodbye.
Bye, Kev. Kevin Graham, SportsMashup.com.